Welcome to the new video about Seven Knights Rebirth, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about the Advent Expedition, which we should get ourselves pretty much soon, I guess. And yeah, you can find this in a guild tab, so this is quite a huge one aspect. This is also going to provide some additional rewards. This is going to provide options from the shop, I believe, or just rewards in general. I will be honest, I'm not an expert about it. I didn't play the ECN version. I'm not familiar with all the mechanics, but we have a spreadsheet list which provides the most important information, I believe, about all the characters, bosses that we're going to have in Advent Expedition, how it actually works, what's recommended there, and what should you prepare to. We're going to discuss it, we're going to speculate a little bit, and we're going to maybe build some strategy. So when we're going to the spreadsheet list, we can see that in total there are actually 5 bosses presented here, and for this mode you need to have 2 teams. Heroes, you can change them between teams as long as roles are met, so there are going to be 2 phases. That's why we need 2 teams. During the first phase you will be able to deal up to 1 million damage points, whatever it calls, and after that you're going to the second phase. In total you have 70 turns for the whole run in general, and you're going to the second phase with the total amount of turns that you have consumed for the first phase, and the remaining part is going to be just provided for you for the second phase. So in total, I believe to defeat the boss you need to deal like 100 million damage or points, whatever is going to be the case. And bosses, they're taking damage from specific types of attacks. Okay, so when we're talking about Tao, this is going to be the first boss, I guess. He is able to remove buffs. No, it's recommended. Buff removals is needed to remove Tao's immortal buff. Okay, this makes sense. Also better to debuff Tao to deal more damage. Okay, great. So what about recommended teams? Let's say in general, when we're talking about these bosses and the amount of them and the numbers of teams recommended, I'm not sure if it's going to be possible, especially for free-to-play players from the very beginning to, even complete the first phase. I'm not sure about it. Maybe it's going to take you the whole amount of turns, and maybe even with that you won't be able to go to the second phase. So just the biggest recommendation here, I believe, is to focus at least on 1 team per character, per boss, to be able, deal at least some damage and get yourself some rewards. So yeah, about Tao, okay, we have recommended teams. The first team here recommended is Biscuit, Ariel, Lina, Espada, Pascal. You know what's funny actually? When I was looking through this list, I realized that there are quite a lot of rare characters which I earlier was thinking like, where am I going to use them? I don't think that they're needed in any cases, like at all. Quite honestly, I just footed them to some of my characters just for unlocking slots or something like that. So here's the thing, like, you need to have them, and some of them you need to have at a certain level of advancements. Obviously you want to have them at maximum amount of stars being unlocked, and this is not that easy. You don't really want to spend resources to rank up your rare character from 4 stars to 6 stars with the materials which you're going to farm from the power-up dungeon. You want to actually get them from fusions, ideally. And yeah, you want to save them. So that's exactly what I'm doing during the last period of time. I'm doing fusions, I'm bringing my characters to a higher level, and I mean the cards which I'm receiving, the characters which I'm receiving at 6 stars. Right now I'm not spending them on unlocking slots, I'm just collecting them. Whenever it's going to be needed, I will decide what I'm going to do with them next. But yeah, as you can see, for example, here we have Biscuit. She's important for buff removal. It's pretty much straightforward. She's able to prevent Tao's immortality. It's working. For the recommended damage buffers, we have here Ariel in the first team. insane. And just today I actually got her at 6 stars, so I saved her, I upgraded her, and she, I believe, going to be a good fit here. For other recommendations, they're providing here Ace and Rachel as a good alternative, I believe. Well, defense down, I guess this is the main reason here. And they're also able to provide certain buffs. For example, Ace, I know he's able to also reduce the duration of buffs, and for example immortality from Theo, he's able to remove it. For the healers recommended here, Lina, well, obviously she's going to be a good fit here because she's able to heal and pretty much decent. She's able at T2 provide from her passive additional crit damage buff, which is also fairly decent and going to be kind of important, especially with the fact that we're talking about Pascal here being as the main DPS. Yeah, for his nukes, this is going to be important to have additional crit damage boost. Also, we can see that it's recommended to have Lina with upgraded skills, so I believe they're referring to upgraded basic attack to also provide additional healing. Debuffers, so Espada. Well, obviously, in this case, we're talking about her ability, I guess, to provide the increased magical damage. Let's have a look at actually Espada real quick, at her passive, what she's able to do. So when we're going to her passive, increase magic damage dealt by 10% and crit rate, but it's for herself. Okay, for the first skill, magic damage taken, yeah, this is huge. From her second skill, it's a pure damage. From basic attack, yeah, I guess the main purpose is about the magic damage taken. Well, she might be a decent support there for sure. Well, Pascal, I believe there is no introduction needed. He is able to nuke, he is able to deal a really decent damage. Now, the second team that they're recommending actually is going to be Daisy. Well, she's able to remove buffs and she's able to do it from 5 enemies, so this is going to work pretty much well. For Joker, I don't remember. Yeah, it's first his skill, I believe, with the hat. So he's able to remove buffs. Free-to-play version, can use him, but you want him to survive. That's the main issue about him, and I'm not sure if everyone has him at 6 stars and worked about his gears. It might be an issue. Noho is actually a decent character overall, even for the Nightmare story progression, so for the late game, she might be a decent one character and quite an important one. Damage buffers, okay, Vanessa. Let's have a look at Vanessa real quick. What do we have here? I have her somewhere here. Where is she? Where is she? Here you are. Okay, so I'm throwing her passive, decrease defense by 20%. That's nice. Petrify, okay, there is nothing special about it. Skill cooldown increase. Well, I believe the most reasonable answer here is going to be about defense decrease by 20%. Well, okay, healers Lucy, yeah, she's increasing defense, she's able to really heal very great. About Victoria, debuffers. If I recall it correctly, she's able to increase the magical damage as well. We're going to have a look at her. We're using her, for example, at Hydra. Increase magic attack by 35%, increase magic damage taken by 22%. Yeah, this is damage. Decent, I mean. Damage taken by 22% to all allies. No, not all allies, my bad. To the back row. Physical resistance, yeah. Well, this might be kinda helpful aspect, especially with the fact that the second DPS which is presented here is Yuri, and I actually got her as well, not that long ago, like or today or yesterday. So as you see, I'm farming like really a lot right now. I'm preparing because this type of content is going to be kinda an important one. Yeah, Yuri is, let's say, alternative to Pascal, but if you're working on the second team, it's going to be important to have her. If you don't have Pascal, you're going to use her overall in the first team. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to participate in the battle without having, like, in general, the second team. I'm not sure about it. Anyways, about Kyle, okay. Do not debuff Kyle at all. Perfect. Great explanation. Only use buffs to boost your damage. I see. So defense down, we have Biscuit here. Here we have Lina as a healer. Okay. Damage buffer supports Delons. He's on my wish list. I got myself a Lin not that long ago. Alternatively, we have here Kagura. Okay, yeah, damage buffers. So basically we need to buff our main DPS as much as possible to deal the most amount of damage. Alternatively, as a healer we have here Yui. So what can we do? I believe Aileen is kinda an important character overall. About Seek, I have him at T0, but I didn't build him because I was thinking that I'm not going to really use him. Well, I guess it's going to be time for me to build him as well, for the second team at least. But I have the issue here about Juppie. I don't have her. It's a shame. And I need to get myself Delon, so here I believe I'm going to stick with a single one team at least for now until I'm going to receive all the proper units. Again, instead of Delons I can use Kagura, for example. Aileen, need to build her, but yeah. Damage buffer supporters. I'm actually not sure if we have some decent options from rare characters. Damage buffers for physical team. Because Shane is going to be our main DPS. Let me have a look just real quick at Aileen, for example, what she's going to provide us. Physical attack increase, okay. Well, the main thing is about physical attack increase. Now let's have a look at some rare characters. Well, I guess you can use Yui, for example, for additional healing, and also she's going from her skill provide some physical damage increase, which is nice overall. I don't remember about Chloe. She's able to increase all attack by a certain percentage, which might be alternatively an option if you don't have anything else and you have her, for example. This is going to be a tough one, for sure. These are some alternatives which I keep in mind, like you for sure. Maybe Chloe, because she's able to provide, all attack boost by 15%. Alice is a healer for the second team. Defense down, Ace is actually recommended here. Do not debuff Kyle at all, only use buffs to boost your damage. So it basically means use buffs for your teams, for your characters. And whenever we're going to speak about, for example, applying certain debuffs like damage taken increase to opponent, I guess they're not going to work properly. I'm not sure, we'll have to see how it's going to look like. Anyways, if you know something, let me know in the comment section below. About Yonhi. Cleans must be on the front line as Yonhi inflicts sleep on the back line. This is important aspect to keep in mind, and the recommended builds there actually, if about previous characters, we have 4 characters in the front line and 1 character in the back line. Here it's recommended differently. So for the first team, 3 characters in the front line and 2 characters in the back line. Okay, 100% effect doesn't resist sleep, and he has 100% effect rate. So it's not really that important to have resistance here. Okay, what do we have? Defense down, Vanessa recommended. Alternatively, they providing Ace here. Damage buffer supporters, so Daisy, Ariel recommended here. Cleans, Lucy, interesting. Cleans must be on the front line as Yonhi inflicts sleep on the back line. And on the first position here presented Lucy. Interesting. Why? Maybe, I don't know, maybe they messed up a little bit the allocation of units. cleans must be on the front line. Okay, so Lucy we need to move to the front line instead of, I don't know, Vanessa, for example, and put her in the back line. Yeah, and this is going to work, I guess. With that, we'll be able to remove the sleep effect with Lucy, and yeah, we can put her in third position, for example. In the first position, doesn't matter, Vanessa should be in back row with Ruri. Ruri is going to be our main DPS here. Interesting thing why we have actually Ruri here. Well, she's an important character in terms of Castle Rush because she's a 3 target DPS unit. Here maybe there is going to be some kind of the same mechanic that there are going to be 3 units presented. That's why she's going to be a great character here, I guess so. Yeah, for the second team it's recommended to have Miho as a defense down, Yonhi as, let's say, main DPS, one of the main DPS here, she's main DPS, and she's presented in the front line. Again, this is kind of weird, they're providing Sarah as a cleanse in the back line, when in fact she should be, like, for example, in the front line on the second position instead of Yonhi, because she's going to remove debuffs, and in this case Yonhi will be able to deal damage, and she will be able to deal more damage overall. Why as well we have here allocation of units like 2 in front, 3 in the back line. This is going to reduce our damage output, damage performance from Yonhi, for example. I don't know, DPS Biscuit. Yeah, it's all messed up. Anyways, Biscuit should be in front line, Sarah should be in front line. In the back line we may put, for example, Miho and Yonhi. This is messed up. Anyways, yeah, for you just to keep in mind, with Yonhi we need to have DPS and passive defense down in the back line, and in the front line we need to provide all the support, healing, and buffs removal, debuffs removal. Yushin alternatively, but he is recommended to be here at T2 early. I have her but I didn't build her. Meh, kinda. I don't know. Chloe alternatively, yeah, she can be a good fit here, quite honestly. If you don't have any of these characters, she's kinda decent. She's able to remove debuffs, she's able to also provide certain support. Sarah alternatively as a DPS, kinda questionable. But yeah, Shadow Karma, what do we have here? Deal damage when Karma's perseverance stacks are low. Debuff him when stacks are high. Okay, quite honestly, about the second team I'm not sure. I mean, again, these are going to be like 3 units presented here during this battle. So again, for DPS units we have here Taka, pretty much obvious, he's going to be great here. Bedamshi is also alternatively recommended in Castle Rush. So yeah, maybe by that moment we'll have Kyle, and he might be a DPS, and maybe he is going to be a good fit here, but I'm not sure about it. We'll have to see. Fan Yang as a second DPS, supportive DPS, yeah, he's going to be a good fit here, and Rachel can be defense down. Okay, Biscuit, Ace, or Vanessa. For healers we have you, Lina, and Alice for recommended, pretty much standard. Yeah, Yu is going to be a great fit here as well. For damage buffers we have Eileen, Delance, Seek, Faye. I guess a lot of people have Faye for sure, and Katie. So yeah, she might be a good fit for the physical teams. I guess this is the case here. But as you can see, Eileen and Delance, they're kinda useful here in different bosses, and as well they're decent units for physical PvP team. You can use both of them, so you might consider for yourself, if you have everything pretty much prepared, if you have nothing else to do or summon for, you may get them, at least one copy for each of them in ideal case scenario. And the last one boss we have the God of Destruction, does HP alteration. Interesting. So the formations here, one team is going to be mage team, the second team is going to be physical team. Okay, alternatively DPS presented Yuri instead of Pascal and Jupi instead of Shane. Can use if you are missing some of them. Yeah, for barrier, okay, even no questions about it. Asura. Well, I guess so. Yeah. And she's also really used in Iron the War, at least at the very beginning, because she's helping to target the right one head of the boss. So maybe quite a lot of players have her. You can use her. Damage buffers, so Victoria, pretty much straightforward for the magical team. She's going to be good. Rachel is going to be good for the physical team. Alternatively, Espada. Probably, yeah. And she's also able to deal quite decent damage as well. Fi for the physical team. Okay. For defense down, again, pretty much straightforward. Vanessa and Biscuit presented here. There are some rare characters. Again, we had a look at them. Is it Sarah? It was Sarah, but it's from her skill ability, so you need to spend like a whole turn to use her skill ability for duration of 3 turns, which is not that optimal. Yeah, because from Vanessa and from Biscuit we're getting it from passives. For healers, again, straightforward Lucy and Lena. A lot of characters to prepare, and obviously not everything is going to be perfect again from the very beginning. What do we have? We need to kind of prepare ourselves and work on at least one team. So the most important characters which we have here, they're going to be mostly the raid DPS units. These are Pascal and mostly Shane. Somewhere we can use Espada, but we're using her mostly as a supportive character. And additional 1 DPS unit, we have rare characters which are recommended for raid boss. Again, Yuri is an alternative, or for the second team with Pascal, and we have Jupi as well for the physical team. From rare characters which are going to be healers, buffers, debuffers, these are going to be Lucy, Victoria. They are from Iron the War, so many people should have them. They're going to be as well Yui. She's really helpful in different cases and she's kind of useful. Sarah, I guess not many have her, but she's useful here in this mode specifically. Daisy as well from the raid boss, so if you have her, this is going to be a nice addition. Alternatively, on some stages we have Katie as recommended, Asura even, and who else? Well, Joker is kind of weird. I mean, for buff removals, I guess okay, but I believe you're not going to use him. I think Lena is used in many cases, Biscuit is used in many cases, and a lot of players should already have them. Ariel is presented in several bosses and she's rare character, so if you have her or if you are going to get her, I would suggest to save her, prepare. Ace is presented in certain stages, Rachel as well. Vanessa, a lot of stages where Vanessa is recommended actually. So yeah. Well, if you were focusing on PvP, maybe, or at least on magical team, maybe you have her. That's why it might be easier for you to prepare for this. Asura as well, many players I guess have her. And overall, from what's a little bit interesting, here we have 2 bosses, like a 3 target units. there we need to have Ruri and Taka. Again, if you're focusing on Castle Rush, for example, you should have them, so it's not going to be kind of a big deal. The main struggle, I believe, these are going to be like the second teams. Yonhi many have here because she is a farmer. Bidam, I guess not. Yep. Alternatively, we can move Feng Yang, for example, in the second team, and here in the fourth slot, I don't know, put someone instead, just as additional support, I guess, purely as a support, because we need to have at least one main DPS in each team, for example. Yeah, overall, the most uncommon things which you can see around is actually Miha. Not everyone have her, but again, she's from Castle Rush, she is useful there. And in quite a few teams we have Dalens and Aileen. These are some problems. Seek, everyone received him for logins, so it's not an issue. Kagura, many, I guess, summoned for her, maybe some skipped, but she is recommended here. The most issue is going to be about Dalens and Aileen and some rare characters which we were kind of fitting to our other characters. So farm, fuse, save for now. At least I believe this is going to give you a certain overview about what to expect from the Advent Expedition. Hopefully this is going to be at least helpful, and this is like a yapping session, my thoughts about what to expect and the thinking process behind different phases, how to prepare for it and what to prioritize. But yeah, the most important part is going to right now prepare certain rare characters, even because we're going to lack of some units, I guess. Most of the DPS units which are presented here, many players should have them, and already upgraded. Well, yeah, with that being said, maybe it's a little bit messy, apologizing for this, but if you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and see you guys in the next one. Take care.